Hi guys, how are you doing? Hoping you're doing well, and welcome to Lynn's Corner. This is another amazing episode of my mental health awareness series. So, if you have not watched my previous video, please make sure you go watch it so that you can have an intel on what I am doing. So, in today's video, I'll be talking about anxiety, the causes, the disorders, how to deal with anxiety, and everything that anxiety entails. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Lynn. I am a third year counseling psychology student at Kenya Methodist University, and you're very welcome to my channel. Please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button so that you can get a notification each time I upload a video. And let's get into today's video. So, what is anxiety? It is a distressing and pleasant emotional state of nervousness and uneasiness. It is also a feeling of worry or fear or nervousness about a certain situation or event. So, overall, anxiety is a feeling of worry, fear, or nervousness. Most people explain that they feel anxious. Okay, they explain their anxious feeling like you say that you're feeling butterflies in your stomach or you're feeling like your stomach is full of water. Anxiety varies from one person or another. There are people when they're anxious, they keep on going to the toilet. So you see, everyone has their different feeling of how they feel anxious. So, anxiety can also be a response to stress, and it may occur suddenly without warning, or there may be a trigger to it. Okay, when there is a trigger, it's when like you're in a certain situation, like probably before you go for an interview, before you go to do an exam. Yeah, that is when you may feel anxious, or suddenly like umekaa tu hivyo and then you feel boom, your stomach is full of water, or you're feeling butterflies, or however you feel anxious. Yes. Also, another point to note is that ability to tolerate a given level of anxiety varies from person to person. So, anxiety varies. How I feel anxious is not how you will feel anxious. What are the causes of anxiety? Number one, there's environmental factors like being in an unfamiliar surrounding, like uko mahali huko shua ni wapi, or it's a new place to you. So you may tend to feel anxious. Another one is work or school stress. For me, being a student, I'll give an example with how I get anxious from school stress. You know, like when I'm having cuts, exams, pending assignment, stuff like that tend to give students anxiety. From work, since I've also worked, I can say like, you've been called for an impromptu meeting, like you don't know what's going to be talked about. Probably some people are going to be laid off. You may find that will give you anxiety. Another one is job change, like changing your place of work. You may find it giving you anxiety. And also change in living environment, like kuhama kwenye ulikuwa unaishi. When you've lived in a place for long or also for a while, you tend to be so comfortable in that place. Now when you change it, you may find yourself having anxiety. Another cause is family and relationship problems. Yeah, mko na shida kwa familia, or when your family or a relationship, if you're in a relationship, is having problems, you tend to find that it will keep on stressing you, and accumulation of stress brings you anxiety. Or even the problems themselves, when they've not accumulated, you just anxious because you don't know what the other person is what the other person is thinking, or what is going on in their mind. It may tend to give you anxiety. Another one is any form of abuse. When I say abuse, it may be physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse. Like any form of abuse will give you anxiety. Like if you're a person who has grown up in a violent environment, you tend to find yourself having anxiety a lot of times because you don't know what's going to happen the next minute. You don't know who's going to be violent to who. Or also emotional abuse. People tend to downplay emotional abuse. Like if you love someone and they're not giving you back that love, that's abuse in itself, because why am I loving you and you're not loving me back? Yeah, that may also give you anxiety because you don't know what's going to be happening in the next minute, or whatever has happened to you. If the abuse already has happened, it may be traumatizing you, hence causing you anxiety. Another one may be death or loss of a loved one. Like, yeah, because you don't, death itself is mysterious, and the mystery of death brings about more reasons for one being anxious. So pregnancy and childbirth, I may not go into detail since I've not experienced any, but in my profession, I've learned that when you're going through that life bringing process, pregnancy and childbirth is bringing a whole new human being to life. You don't know how they're going to be. You don't know if you're going to be the perfect parent. You don't know how parenting will take you. Probably don't even have finances to raise the child. You know, you don't know how the child is going to be. That may cause your anxiety, or even the pregnancy itself. Like, probably you're having a hard pregnancy. Yeah, that may cause you to be anxious, going through a traumatic event. Yeah, that may also bring you anxiety, since like the memories may keep replaying. Yeah, causing you stress, causing you anxiety. Stress build up, I think I've talked about that. Like accumulation of stress, since you don't know what's going to be happening in the next minute. Like, your thoughts are confused. When you're stressed, you tend to be confused. Yeah, that confusion may bring you anxiety. Drugs and alcohol. Again, drugs and alcohol do not help in anything. When you're anxious and you're using drugs, it does not help. And that feeling of being, you're high, you don't know, you're not even sure of what you're doing, you're not responsible for your actions and behavior, that brings you anxiety. So, what are the common signs and symptoms of anxiety? Number one is feeling nervous, restless, or tense. So, when some people are anxious, they feel nervous, like unasikia tu hauko sawa, kuna kitu inakusumbua. Yeah, restlessness. Another one is having a sense of impending danger, panic, or doom. So, when most people are panicking, they are anxious, or you're just feeling like something bad is going to happen. That one is anxiety. Having an increased heart rate, like roho yako inapiga sana, breathing rapidly, being easily irritable. Like me, when I'm anxious, I am so irritable. I can't explain why. I just feel like, oh my god, you're getting into my nerves. Yeah, so another one is sweating, there's trembling, there's feeling weak or sad. So when some people are anxious, they feel weak and tired, or weak or tired, one of them or both. Another one is having unexplained body pains, like you had just chilled, you're doing your own stuff, then when you started feeling nervous or anxious, like you start having headaches, your knee suddenly starts feeling pain, your toes. So another one is having sleep problems, in the sense of you may be oversleeping or having insomnia, like you having problems sleeping. Difficulty controlling feelings of worry, like you just constantly feeling worried and you can't explain what is making you feel worried. So that is anxiety. And the last one is trouble concentrating or thinking about anything else other than the present worry. So whatever is making you worried at the given time when you're feeling anxious, you can't concentrate or think about anything else. You're just finding yourself thinking about that specific thing, and it's eating your time, and it's making you feel bad. It's making you anxious. So again, I cannot talk about anxiety and fail to talk about the common types of anxiety disorders. I will highlight this four. If you're interested in knowing more, you can Google or do your own small research. Take it as an assignment from me. So the four that I'll mention are generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, specific phobia, and social anxiety disorder. So, when it comes to generalized anxiety disorder, it's a psychological disorder marked by persistent anxiety for at least 6 months, and in which the individual is unable to specify the reasons for the anxiety. People with it are nervous all the time. So, mtu akona generalized anxiety, huyo ni mtu anakwanga tu anxious kila saa na hawezi sema ni nini inafanya akue anxious. Ako tu hivyo, anxiety every time, yeah? So it's like they have this persistent worry and they can't explain what is making them worried or nervous. So yeah, that's that. Panic disorder. Individuals experience recurrent, sudden onset of intense apprehension or terror, often without warning and with no specific cause. Panic attacks can produce severe palpitations, extreme shortness of breath, chest pain, trembling, sweating, dizziness, and a feeling of helplessness. So I bet nyinyi wote mnajua kupanic ni nini. Ni ile unakanga tu unashtuka suddenly, without warning. Terror often without warning and with no specific cause. So umekaa tu hivyo and then you're suddenly kushtuka. Allow me to say that. Sidhani kuna jina ka hiyo. I've just made my own word, kushtuka. So yeah, that's that when it comes to panic disorder. And again, as I've said, if you feel like the information I'm giving is not enough, you can go do your own research and learn more about this. So, specific phobia, individuals have an irrational, overwhelming, persistent fear of a particular object or situation. So, specific phobia is kind of more specific because, yeah, it's specific phobia. Like, unaogopa kitu specific. Like, there are people who fear spiders, there are people who fear snakes, there are people who fear marriages, there are people who fear relationship, there are people who fear water, watu wako na hydrophobia, yeah. So when it comes to social anxiety, this is an intense fear of being humiliated or embarrassed in social situations. Individuals with social phobia often avoid social interactions. So kuna watu wanaogopanga watu, like you in constant fear, kind sana nikienda nimwongeleshe alafu nikuwe embarrassed, ama humiliate, ama niende niongee alafu my tongue does that thing. So yeah, that's that. I hope the information I'm giving is helpful and inakusaidia to interact more with. How do you deal with this anxiety? Number one, take a time out. In the sense of go take a walk, enda upigwe na baridi, upigwe na breeze. It will help you in calming yourself down, hence lowering your anxiety. Eat well-balanced meals. Meals are really underrated in the sense of watu hukataa kukula, not knowing that eating, and not only eating but also well-balanced meals zinasaidia kuboost your hormones, which helps you in dealing with your anxiety. Inasaidia kupunguza, like when one hormone is high which is making your anxiety go high, hiyo hormone ingine inasaidia kupunguza. So eat well-balanced meals, kula carbohydrate, proteins na vitamins vizuri, and also eat more fruits. It will help you in dealing with anxiety. And also kunywa maji, drink water also. So another one is limit alcohol and caffeine. As I said in my previous video, alcohol and drugs just leave you with a hangover and it will not have solved anything. Yeah, so limit it. Alafu alcohol inaongezeanga anxiety. Yeah, zikiwa na caffeine zinaongezeanga anxiety. So if you are anxious like at a 2 and then you take caffeine like coffee, your anxiety will go to 10. It's proven, it's true. If you don't believe me, you can Google. Yeah, so limit alcohol and caffeine. After all, there are people who do without it. So challenge yourself to join those people. Another one is get enough sleep. Kubali kulala for like 8 hours. If you can afford to sleep for 8 hours, please do. Exercise daily. Yes, exercise also helps in boosting your hormones, and it will boost your body. So itakusaidia. Take deep breaths and count to 10 slowly. This is especially when you are in that moment yenye uko anxious. Take deep breaths and count to 10 slowly. You will find that you have calmed down and whatever was making you so anxious, itakuwa imepita. Also, avoid situations that trigger your anxiety, especially people with panic disorders or people who find themselves panicking, or and also what was specific phobia. If you can avoid whatever is causing you to have that phobia, kindly do, so that you can help yourself in easing your anxiety. And lastly, accept the things beyond your control. I said this, and allow me to say it again. You cannot control everything. You cannot control what people will say about you. You cannot control the animals. You cannot control the weather. Yeah, so just accept that you can't control everything, and you will find yourself being a better person. And it will also help in. Thank you very much for staying tuned from the beginning to the end of the video. I hope that it has been helpful. I hope that you have learned something new that you didn't know about anxiety. So thank you. See you in the next video, and make sure you give it a thumbs up. You comment on the video you'd like me to do next, on whatever you'd like me to talk about in my next video, and also subscribe. Remember to subscribe. Road to 200 subscribers, at least get me somewhere, and please share. Make sure that this information reaches to as many people as it can. See you in my next video.